What's going on YouTube? Today's topic, I just left a 6-month active duty tour in the Air Force yesterday. I out-processed and now I'm going back to my traditional reservist job and my civilian job as well. It was a great tour. That's one of the benefits if you are a reservist, that you can go on active duty sometimes, whether it's a deployment, a TDY, or in my case, a 6-month tour at the Air Reserve Personnel Center in Aurora, Colorado. It was a 6 months total that I was there, and I loved it, but it was definitely very challenging as well. High expectations, a new job for me as well. So I'm used to being a civilian. For the last 8 jobs, I've done the same job with finances. I can do that with my eyes closed. So going to active duty and a new job was definitely very challenging, but the feeling of accomplishment in the end is top notch. In other words, I left yesterday very satisfied. I learned a lot and I felt good about myself because I was able to adapt. Once I adapted, it was better because for about a month or so, it was very challenging and I didn't like it at all. I did like the pay. The pay is double what I make as a civilian, and that is something that I'll talk about in just a few moments. Finances or benefits as well. But I left the job a lot sharper as an individual, and I'll take that to my job again in my civilian job. They actually wanted me to stay longer, but I couldn't because I have responsibilities with my civilian job. So I was out of there for 6 months, and they stepped in and did a lot of the duties that I had for those 6 months. I'm very thankful for them as well. I'll go back in just a few days. Let me talk about the benefits of being active duty. The pay, like I said just a few moments ago, is incredible. Double every paycheck. A lot of tax-free allowances. There's other benefits, medical. I forgot that as an active duty service member, you don't pay for medical or for your family, with the exception of dental and vision, which is very inexpensive every month. And we're pretty healthy overall, knock on wood, because we ended up at the emergency room twice in those 6 months. A family member. Luckily, my daughter was okay, and it was just some things that she was going through, and we never saw a bill for that. So those are some of the benefits. The other thing is network. I networked and met a lot of new people, and if I wanted a job back at that location, it's not guaranteed, but they know what kind of work I can bring to their team, and maybe they would be interested in bringing me back. Mandates, which is the temporary orders that I was on, maybe as a civilian, maybe as a active duty person for about 3 years or so. I'll talk about that in just a moment as well. But one of the things that I quickly learned, the fast-paced job that I was in, is I observed not only our leadership, but the people I worked with, and I realized that I had been in my civilian job for the last 8 years without advancing because there is no room for advancement. So it's time for me in this new year to look for something new. I know that's what I want to do, is a new job for the federal government, move up, because I do all the work, whether it's education, whether experience, whether it is additional duties, and I'm always willing to learn a lot of new things in the human resources field. So I'm ready for new challenges here in the city of Colorado Springs, which is where I live. And they offered me maybe a future civilian job back at Buckley Air Force Base, but I live 80 miles away each way. That's a distance. So I figure I can find something here in Colorado Springs. But I did mention this to them. How about an AGR slot, which is an active duty slot, usually for 3 years. So that is something that I would definitely take back at Buckley Air Force Base, a 3-year tour. And the reason is this: I have 18 years of military service, combined active and reserve, but active duty time, I have 12 years. So if I get a 3-year tour, that's 15. If I do a good job, they may say, hey, how about another 3-year? By then I'm at 18 years of active duty, which means I can almost get my active duty retirement. If I don't get an active duty retirement, I have to wait until the age of 60 to get that pension and medical benefits. But you know what? Maybe 8 years away, I can retire from active duty. That is my goal. We will see what happens with that because I will be applying for a job when they list that job. And you'll either know if I'm staying in my civilian career or going back to active duty. So 6 months went by quick. I did have to commute all the time or stay at lodging at my own expense. But I'm happy to be back home, and we will see what happens. Going back to the reserves is a great part-time job, which sometimes leads to an active duty job with all those benefits as well. So think about that. I have a friend at the base at Buckley, and she left active duty and was very fortunate enough to go into the AGR, Air Guard Reserve tour, and then another tour, and she is about a year and a half away from an active duty pension. That is a great opportunity for her, a great option for you and me if you are a reservist, regardless of branch. Always look into what your branch offers and take it from there. Always look out for opportunities, educational, experience-wide, to progress your career. If you have any questions, let me know, but I'm happy to be home. You take care.